In Northeast Ohio, we're facing an epidemic like we've never seen before. Heroin use is not only on the rise, but it's taking lives at unprecedented levels, and there's no sign it's slowing down.
What I see in my office is the tip of the iceberg of this problem. I wrote heroin on more death certificates in 2013 and 2014 than I did for car accidents, than I did for suicide, or for homicide.
Our leading death was motor vehicle accidents. That is no longer the case. The leading death in our county is heroin.
It's the number one public health issue we face in this country. It's the number one killer. It's the number one impact on business. The list goes on and on and on.
This new addiction is something different. The grip of this addiction is different. I've never seen anything like it.
Well, the current heroin epidemic that we have here in Cleveland and in Northeast Ohio is certainly worse than any epidemic we've had before. The heroin is more pure, the heroin is more available, and there are more people with opiate problems because so many people got started on prescription opiates, began to abuse them, and now find they can't get enough prescription opiates for their habit, and they're turning to heroin.
I have seen the statistics, I've heard the horror stories. I've been to funerals, 16, 17, 18-year-old kids who've died in my district that I go to try to support the families, who are devastated. They'll never recover from the loss of their child. This problem scares the heck out of me.
My name is Lexi and I'm a recovering heroin addict. It all started when I was 7th and 8th grade. I started drinking and smoking. Sophomore year, I started doing pills, which led to heroin, and then I started using the needle. It starts out as, harmless fun, I guess, of teenagers, experimenting. And then one day you get offered something harder and you're like, okay, why not? I'll try that. You're not yourself. You're a completely different person. You turn into a liar, you turn into a thief, you manipulate people. That was my life. I was miserable every single day. You do nothing but chase a drug all day long. It's no life for anybody.
If people don't get treatment, the majority of people die, and they die early.
My eldest son, Robbie, had his wisdom teeth out between his freshman and sophomore year of high school. And when he had the surgery, post-operatively, he was prescribed prescription pain medication. So we worked really hard to ensure that he was off the pills in 2 days. I've got this new drug. It's just as good and it's a lot less expensive. And Robbie's thought process then was, well, I'm clean, I can do it once, I'm in control. And that new drug was heroin. And within 2 weeks, he was fully addicted to heroin. And then October 20th, 2011, I was driving home from work. I was in Michigan, and I got a call from his mom around 2 in the afternoon, and she said, have you talked to Robbie today? Work called, and he took the work truck this morning at 10 to go out and make deliveries, and they can't find him. They can't get a hold of him. It's weird that you're almost like hoping that there's a car accident or something happening, he's in the hospital, versus using drugs again. We knew that for whatever reason on that day, the drug had called his name again, and he had said yes on that day. And they got a phone call from the East Cleveland police and letting them know that they'd found my son. And that he passed away. And so I had to leave the police station. I had to go home and tell his mom. And then we had to go to school, tell his brother and sister. And 3 days later, we buried him. And, 6-month journey with heroin. We live out here in this suburban, nice, comfortable bedroom community, and I make a sizable income, and my kids go to a nice private Catholic school, so I don't have to worry about their drug use. We have to get away from those kinds of things.
There was this stereotype, I think, at one time that our typical drug addict is somebody who's inner city, isolated, in poverty, and that's completely inaccurate from what we see.
Heroin addiction is a non-denominational taker, and it'll take anybody from anywhere. And then it'll take every day whatever a person can give until a person decides to get sober.
The face of addiction is really the face of America today.
I think from a parent's perspective, this problem has gotten bigger because we're not as smart as we think we are. I remember sitting down with some law enforcement officers that deal with this every single day, and they explained to me very clearly that the knowledge hierarchy is the dealer, the kids, the police, the parents.
We're on pace, unfortunately, to double the number of addictions this year as compared to last year, and last year was horrific. I mean, sadly, Ohio is one of those states that's hardest hit, but it hits everywhere. It knows no zip code. It doesn't discriminate.
You know, if we had a plane crash in Lake Erie right outside the stadium and 500 people on board were dead, they suffered that ultimate tragedy, it would be all over every news channel in the nation. But yet here we are in the state of Ohio, and we're burying kids every single week. Every single one death of a 16, 17, 28, 29, 42-year-old father of three, every single death impacts the people.
It's all of our problem. It's not just our neighbor's problem. It's everybody's problem. The good news is this is treatable.
It's an immediate problem that needs an immediate solution, but it also needs a far-reaching strategy going forward to mitigate it down the road.
Congress is finally taking action. The CARA legislation, Comprehensive Addiction and Recovery Act, and what we've come up with is a way to look at this issue a little differently, to acknowledge, really for the first time by the United States Congress, that addiction is a disease and needs to be treated like that, like other diseases.
It's going to take all of us working on the same page to drive the education and awareness that's needed to beat this issue. And if we don't all come together, then the drug's going to win.
If you're going to support this campaign, part of the adding up means it's got to be for the long term. It can't be for the short term. There is no quick fix for this.
When the drug becomes everything, all of us suffer, not just the addict, the family, the community, the entire state. That's why this campaign is so important.
We need this, and we need this now, not tomorrow.
And over the course of the last 3 years, we've spoken to over 40,000 people, and it's taken us 3 years, to get to that many schools and organizations. In one night, this project has an opportunity to send a message to over 1 million people. We reach more people in one fell swoop than we're going to be able to reach in the entire existence of our organization.
This is really, really very important to me. It's been a really big part of my life, and if I can do anything to even save one person, sorry. I don't like this. If I could just help one person to turn their life around, it would be amazing for me. I had to learn the math the hard way. Join us in helping to solve the problem.